How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. We also got to put in the disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor and this isn't financial advice. So just know when you do invest, you're doing it at your own risk. So today we're going to be talking about SOS and EBON, and of course we saw a lot of volatility in the market today, especially in the crypto space. But before we get into it, of course, we got to cover the agenda. If you're new to this channel, just to let you know, we have timestamps down below in the description, but I highly suggest that you watch the video so you can add it to your due diligence and your homework for either one or both of these stocks. So the first thing that we're going to be going over is the technical analysis for both SOS and EBON, taking a look at the overall price action, looking at areas if it does decide to pull back, areas that you can see in regard to support, and also seeing the areas what we need to show, hey, you know what, it is a reversal happening or a bullish uptrend. Then after that, we're going to be taking a look at the short interest information and as well as recent institutional buys. I've been seeing some interesting patterns here, and I'm going to be sharing it with you guys in that segment. And then when all of that is done, I'll be giving you my final thoughts along with what went down today in the crypto sector. So let's get into it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for SOS. So let's take a look at how it performed on the day. So it closed at $3.23, being down 4.15% on the day. On the low, it tested $3.01, and then on the high, testing $3.28. So before we get started, we want to take a look at our indicators here. The chart that we're using is actually the 6-month 2-hour chart. So we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. So it is looking bearish. Yesterday we saw, hey, it looks like we were making a reversal because we saw an uptrend going on here. But now we kind of reversed those gains back. But do keep in mind, we did have some volatility in the market today, especially in the crypto space. But one thing that was great to see, it was able to respect this area of support right at this $3 level and ended up seeing a high of $3.28. Which I'm definitely going to be looking forward to seeing that high being tested again come tomorrow and then make that move to the upside so we can get close to reclaiming the 100-day at $3.96. If it doesn't happen this week, then I'd want to see it before the end of the month. If we take a look at the RSI down below, it is standing at around 41. We already know right at 50 is around fair. So it is in that oversold territory. So that means there's definitely been a reaction. There's been a lot of selling, and it can provide an opportunity for anyone looking to actually invest in the SOS and they actually see the upside in the stock. So what I'm going to be looking for, like I stated previously, I want to see that $4 area before the end of the month. I know it's going to be very, very choppy, but hey, I'm going to stick to that prediction. Another thing to also take notice of the fact is depending on how cryptocurrency actually behaves is going to have an impact on this SOS stock. So keep an eye on that. But for the most part, I'm happy with the strength that we saw from SOS. It actually wasn't too far off on the sense from a percentage standpoint as compared to Mara and Riot. So we're now on Fintel, and we're going to be taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information for SOS. So as we scroll down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. And you can see here, it's definitely looking very bullish for SOS here. Institutions have opened up new positions, and we know institutions are not going to invest if they do not see a potential return on their investments. So we see Virtue Financial LLC going in today on May the 19th with 324,000 shares, 280,700 to be exact. But you guys already catch the drift on that. But that's definitely a bullish purchase right there. And we saw from yesterday Jane Street Capital getting involved, going in with 216,000 shares, or just over that, and also buying a call. And of course, they have a put so they can hedge on their position. So if we take a look at the short interest information here, short volume ratio stands at 17%. So this is below the 21% that usually tells us, hey, there's some short squeeze potential here. But it also does tell us, as far as for the overall market sentiment, things are pretty good. Is that a fair price of where it's currently definitely at. And we take a look at the short shares availability 3 minutes ago, 1.6 million. Short borrow fee rate, fairly high. It's up there at 11.64%. Short volume ratio, taking a look at the history, seeing it at 16.82. It's definitely been on quite a high. The last time we actually got anywhere close to that range, and it was actually well above it, let me correct myself there, it was on May the 5th where it was at 25.78. So it definitely has gone up. So it'll be interesting to see what it ends up looking like for what it was for today. But of course, I'll be giving you guys the update on that tomorrow. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for EBON. So let's take a look at how it actually closed on the day. So it ended up closing at $2.87, being down 9.75% on the day. On the low, it tested $2.75, and then on the high, testing $3.02. So the one thing that we want to take a look at today, we saw it tested 275, and we have already seen in the past that this has been an area of support for EBON. So seeing it bounce off of this particular area and being able to finish at 287 is really not too bad. Also, we want to take a look at our indicators here. So it is below the 200-day, the 100-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA, as it stands at $2.95, and it did close below that. So what we're looking for tomorrow and as this week progresses is for EBON to go back to where it was the day before, looking bullish again when it was riding above that 21-day EMA. Once we start seeing that, like I said, I want to see that move where it's getting close to this 370 area and potentially make that move to $4 before the end of the month. Very similar to the way how I look at SOS. If we take a look now at the RSI down below, it is right around 44. So it is below 50. So it is in an oversold territory. Do keep in mind, we did have a lot of volatility in the crypto space overall in general. So it definitely did have an impact on the stock. So what I'm going to be looking for, of course, is a recovery to the upside. If it does decide to pull back, then definitely look out for that 275 to be retested. And also, as you're aware of and what we've spoken about, is around the 250, 260 levels in case it pulls. And if you're thinking about getting into a position and you believe into the long-term prospects of EBON. So we're now on fintel.io. We're going to be taking a look at the institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information for EBON. So as we scroll down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So we could see here as far as for May the 19th, we have Virtue Financial that completely closed out of their position. Aside from that, we just have the positions that were established on the 18th, which we've covered already. This one institution closing out their position does not mean that, hey, EBON is going to be going down from here. It just means an institution no longer has interest. Do keep in mind of the fact, though, this is the same institution that put in a big time position into SOS. So if we take a look at the short interest information here, the short volume ratio is at 16%. So again, this is below the 21% that we tend to look for that short squeeze potential. But it also does mean, and I'm going to continue to repeat this until it's ingrained in your mind, as far as for the market sentiment, they're looking at the EBON stock and they're saying, well, you know what? This is fair, not much more room to short it. If we take a look at the short shares availability, it is at 2.1 million, and the short borrow fee rate stands at 1.80%. If we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we've been seeing for quite some time it hasn't been in that 20 range, and this is going as back as far as May the 11th. Before that, as you can see from 10th and on, it has been above that 21%, but we did see on the 5th it was around 14.56. So just taking all of this into consideration, like I was saying previously, and we already said, hey, we already know where those areas are for EBON as far as where it's established its bottom at, so there isn't really that much risk left in this particular stock. But again, only invest in it if you believe in the long-term prospects. Before I get into the final thoughts for SOS and EBON, first, let's talk about China. So China puts the ban saying, hey, finance firms should not be dealing in cryptocurrency related transactions. So when you have an announcement like that, it's definitely going to have an impact on the overall sector. we also do know that, hey, China wants to bring in the digital yuan. So the Bitcoin being around and being available, that just adds even more competition. But I'm not going to be going too deep or any further into that, but that's to kind of give you a kind of a clear idea of what I posted even on my YouTube section, community tab section. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong either, but that's just something to give you an update by, and it's part of the reasons why we saw the crash today. Another thing is, which is going to be the final thoughts for SOS and EBON, we're definitely seeing some more bullish behavior leaning on the side of SOS. EBON, I would like to see an update. So let us know what's going on. How are the operations and so forth. I feel if they started coming out with some news or some updates, people would start looking at it a little bit more favorably. And the reason why I'm saying this, we're seeing on the institution side, and the same institutions who are bought into EBON are now moving into SOS. So I feel like it's definitely something that needs to actually have some eyes on. And I, for myself, many of you might say, are you saying, well, you know what, have you sold an EBON? No, I have not. I'm in both EBON and as well as SOS here, but I am the type of an investor where when I'm investing in certain stocks, I want to know what's up. I want to know the updates, what's been going on, and SOS has actually been doing a great job with that, and the market is actually seeing that. But for the most part, hey, I'm not too surprised with what's going down. We already know with these crypto plays, it comes with a lot of volatility. And of course, these are penny stocks at the end of the day. So when it comes to your overall portfolio, I'm going to reiterate it again, it should not be taking up no more than 5 to 10%. Anything more than that, then again, you're opening to yourself up to a lot of volatility, and it's going to require a certain type of a mindset to actually weather through that. I myself, I rather just stick to the 5-10% of my portfolio, and that's what works best for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.